Hello everybody, welcome to $2 Horror. My name is Matt Eddy. This month I watched 2019's Crawl. I'm just gonna put it right out there. I absolutely love this movie. It is so much fun. It is way more suspenseful and gripping than it has any right to be. The whole time I watched it, I was just like on the edge of my seat, wondering what was gonna happen. How are they gonna get out of this? The premise is a little ridiculous. When you read any synopsis of this movie, it reads like something that you'd see on Tubi and you would just kind of scroll right past it because they're like, oh, alligators, whatever. So a father and a daughter are trapped in this crawl space during a Category 5 hurricane. There's a crawl space beneath the house because they're in Florida, and it's slowly filling up with water, and they are not alone. They have some pretty angry alligators in there with them. So like I said, it doesn't sound like much, but they do a lot with what they've got. The whole movie was shot in warehouses in Serbia. So whenever you see the exterior of the house that has like a gas station convenience store type thing across the street from the house, there's a couple other buildings and this chain link fence. It's all a soundstage, and you can spot it. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I think it adds a level of like surrealism almost to the movie. I'm a sucker for a fake outdoor environment. Anyway, I don't know what it is. I think they're really cool. This one is super cool. It looks great. They did some B-roll shooting, maybe while she was driving in the beginning or something. Exterior shots in Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, which is where I grew up. This is my hometown. I am from the small town of Dunedin, Florida. It's really close to St. Petersburg and Tampa, about 15-20 minute drive. So speaking as a Floridian, a Florida boy, I can attest that just casually driving around during a major storm, that tracks. You know, we almost famously don't really take hurricane warnings very seriously, for better or for worse. Definitely for worse. If you're in a hurricane situation, you know, evacuate, seek shelter, do all that stuff. I'm just saying, in Florida, we have this this cavalier attitude about it. For some reason, we're strangely proud of how dumb we are about life-threatening situations. So, you know, we don't really pay attention until you say Category 3, and then we're listening. Then we might not throw a hurricane party and just get drunk during it. So this is a Category 5, so maybe she's probably not just driving around in it. Anyway, she's a swimmer. She goes to Florida State University? No, to the University of Florida. She's in Gainesville, so she's at UF. She's on a swimming scholarship there. There's a big storm in town. Her and her sister can't get a hold of her father. He's not answering his calls. He's not returning texts. So she decides she's going to go there and check on him. She's very worried about him. She goes to his apartment, finds it empty, grabs the dog that was left there, and she's off to her childhood home, which is very close by. He's he's in the process of fixing it up and selling it. Obviously, there's been a divorce. The family's broken up. There's like liquor bottles around. It kind of insinuates that he might be a little bitter about it. They also insinuate that he is maybe a little bit estranged from his children. They have some tension between them, but you know, family's family, so she's there. She gets to the house. She finds it empty, but there are signs that he's been around recently. He's working on some pipes under the sink. This gives her the idea to look beneath the house. They have this this crawl space. I've never seen anything like this. I'm not saying they don't exist in Florida, but having something subterranean in Florida is not common at all. So I've never seen this like crawl space that you open these big doors in the middle of the house to get into. But nonetheless, it's there, and she's kind of crawling around. She's calling out his name. This is the first time we see an alligator. It almost gets her. And she goes crawling underneath like all these pipes and everything, somewhere where the alligator can't get to her. And there she finds her dead. He's injured, unconscious. He's got like a big bite mark on his shoulder. I think his leg's broken. So now the movie starts. We're maybe 10 minutes into the movie, if that. They set this all up really quick, so it's not a bore to get to this point at all. Originally, the movie was supposed to take place entirely in this crawl space. Director Alexandre Aja very wisely added some other locales, namely the exterior of the house and the convenience store, because it's, you know, they're in a warehouse. They don't really have much, but they do a lot with it. So for a good 45 minutes they're in this crawl space, and they're kind of like trying to outsmart these alligators. They're looking for a way out. At one point she looks out to the street, and there's like a little grating there or something. I don't know what you want to call it. She can look out, and she sees some people. They've taken this motorboat up to the gas station, and they're doing something super Florida. Some white trash people just stealing everything from this gas station. They're like carrying out an ATM. Some kid's in there with a backpack. He's loading up on junk food and cigarettes and shit. It's not going to be a team up of people from different walks of life. These people get got pretty quickly and pretty pretty brutally.
See, I told you. Fuck.
The things that happen with the alligators in this movie are all a little shocking. They all take you by surprise, and they kind of make you go, ooh, oof. It's like really brutal violence. It's not super violent, but it's just it takes you by such surprise, and that's what this movie does well. It keeps you in suspense the whole entire time. They do a really good job at like building suspense and this overall feeling of anxiety and being trapped, and how the hell are they gonna get out of this? And you know, the stuff that happens in this movie, I don't want to spoil it for you too much, because you really should go watch it. A lot of outlandish things happen in this movie, but it's just just realistic enough for you to suspend your disbelief, for 90 minutes or however long this movie is. I would definitely recommend watching this movie on like maybe a Sunday morning or something while you're drinking your coffee, because it takes place in the course of like an afternoon while this hurricane is blowing through this little town. So it's never nighttime in this movie. It's always daytime, even though it's cloudy and dark out because of the storm. It is always like very clearly daytime still. It takes place in the afternoon. So I think watching this movie during the day will add a little bit to the atmosphere while you're watching it. Like I said, it's a very suspenseful movie. They're very smart about the pacing. And when something happens with one of the alligators, when somebody gets like suddenly bit out of nowhere, like they space these things out far enough so it's not something that's overplayed. And so every time it comes up, it does take you by surprise. This movie is it's great. I've watched it a couple of times and I thoroughly enjoyed it both times. So definitely give it a shot. It is on Paramount Plus right now. So if you're watching this when this episode comes out in August or September 2024, it's currently on Paramount Plus. Watch it there. If not, I mean, I've seen it on a lot of the streaming platforms, so it's bound to pop up on one of the ones that you have. Might be on Tubi at some point. I think I've seen it on Tubi at some point. Definitely give it a watch. Don't let anybody give you shit for watching movies all the time because their world sucks. My name is Matt Eddy. This has been $2 Horror, and we will see you next time. So long.